It's live, yes, finally. Say hey to Aaron.
Welcome to Merlin's Mystery School.
Alright, so now it's time
And
to
we're just gonna give a brief introduction what we're getting into today. Like of course, if any of you guys any Harry Potter heads out there, Harry Potter lovers, we're getting into defense against the dark arts. And what I'm saying in that sense is that it's not a thing as in saying that light is good and dark is evil. All that is a difference. If you were in I've heard this before, and if you were in a whole white room with a light on, it'd just be as light. You were in a dark room that was painted black, basically. It's still the same. The only difference is the contrast. So light and dark is really just polarity. But in a sense, people consider dark more so the shadow side, which if anyone has studied Carl Jung, everyone does. From what I've seen, every human being that I have met so far has a shadow self. It's not to be ashamed of it. It's not to dwell in it, but more so to understand. Do your best to understand it. You know, and it can come from all certain types of things. You know, you could have had a girlfriend, or you know, a girl that was just like the cutest girl, or guy, or whatever, and you thought, you know, maybe she was into you and she only wanted your money, or whatever the case may be. That goes into the shadow side. Things that you didn't get maybe as a child, things that you didn't get even maybe as a teenager. If you got rejected at the first dance or prom or whatever, that goes into the shadow side. Certain events in your life that you wonder, why couldn't it happen this way? Or, you know, if you were looked at as a nerd, or you know, whatever. I'm a nerd, so if I don't look like it, you know, there's no shame in it. Still sexy though, but still nerd.
We all got picked on when we grew up, dude. That's why we're outsiders. That's why we're here right now. So.
Exactly.
Oh,
the eccentric ones.
please tell me that's not part of your plan to teach us. Come on. Oh.
Okay, so anyways, Tony, you want to get into the jokes?
He
Tony's not
said
here.
he'd be right back.
He said he's gone for a sec.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Like,
what
like
about
I
Robin
was
Williams?
saying,
I think he's like a gnome, right? He's like, I don't want to be a gnome anymore. I want to be a fairy with wings. That's what he
was,
said.
man.
He's like,
He was,
I've heard
and he is. That's the thing. That's the thing about him. If you look at like his interviews, he can't have an interview without like making some type of joke or anything. He can't be taken seriously. That wasn't his energy.
yeah.
He was Peter Pan.
All right, so
better
who
to
in
play
here,
Peter Pan?
okay, so who in here has heard this joke before? You might have heard this because since Michael brought up this situation. All right, here's how it goes. It's like there's this one there's a king named King Leonidas, and he one day he went to check on his men to see how they're doing, and somehow they're slacking off. What did he say to them? Can anyone guess?
Sparta.
I don't know.
Sparta!
Oh man. All I know is what is the topic of today's discussion? So we don't get off track again because I really want to.
No. We're just starting off with the jokes
Oh.
first, and then we're gonna get into it.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Tony usually has some funny jokes.
Can I tell you
I got
instead of a
one.
joke? Can I tell you anecdotes? Or Jenna, you go.
Okay,
I
I kind of
know.
have to do a little bit of an accent for this one. Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh,
So a guy walks into a
Please.
bar. He puts a leprechaun up to the bar and says, "Bartender, bartender, if I pull a leprechaun out of your pocket, will you give me free beer?" That's what it is. And the bartender goes, "Psh, yeah." So the guy pulls a leprechaun out of his pocket. Bartender gives him a free beer. The leprechaun looks up at the guy, laughs, blows bubbles in his beer, runs down the bar, jumps down out the door. Halfway through the guy's beer, the leprechaun comes back in, jumps up on the bar, runs across the bar, looks up at the guy, laughs, blows bubbles in his beer, and runs back out the bar. 2 sips left into his beer. Leprechaun runs into the bar, jumps up onto the bar, runs across it, looks up at the guy, laughs, and blows bubbles in his beer. Well, before he can run away, the guy catches him and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, well, we leprechauns, we don't have dicks." And he goes, "Well, how do you pee?" "We blow bubbles in people's beer."
Oh God!
That's awesome. Oh my God, the pot of gold.
See, that's the thing. See, you have to know how to tell a joke like that. See,
That's awesome.
Dude,
I
seriously,
didn't know
was one of
leprechauns didn't have dicks.
No, there's comedians and there's comics, and that was a comical delivery. I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. Very well timed.
Thank you. I've had a lot of practice because that's one of the only jokes I know. So.
It's
No, this was
well,
pretty good.
pretty good, yes.
I
That was
I was just watching Robin Williams. He was saying some funny things. He was just like, fundamentalists believe that the word is the word, not metaphorical, the word, not allegorical, the word. So he says, it was like, don't you think that in creation, when God said, "Let there be light," it could have been metaphorical for the Big Bang? And he was just like, no, God just went click.
Oh my God.
and then he was just like saying, so we're all descendants from Adam and Eve, and he goes, oh, so that means that we're all cousins, and he goes, that's right. And after that, he was just like, so there's funny things where, like, with basically the story of Moses and certain things, you know, where there's like animals and certain things like fallen from out of the sky. It says, oh, okay, you know what, that's what we should drop on Afghanistan, not bombs, fucking frogs.
Is he back? Is he back? Is Tony back?
Yeah, that's Tony.
is so.
Oh my
And
God.
there's a funny, oh man, it's so funny, but there's one there's just like it was like basically the story of like Mary and Joe, and it was just like, okay, so when it comes to Mary and Joe, he's just like, Mary, Holy Mother of God, and he goes, you're right. And he said,
Exactly.
oh, you know, what's a good name? And he goes, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, wait, that's a wonderful name, Joe. That is so much better than Shmuel.
Oh my God, this is great.
He must be coming through me, man.
No, she was, don't worry, it was immaculate. Oh, it better have been immaculate.
Oh, it better have been immaculate.
I love that.
Oh, man.
Dude, Michael, if
Comedians
I
are very highly aware, you guys. They're like angels in disguise.
The elementals, oh yeah. But you see,
I would put a
you see
warning
how
label on
good
this.
that feels. I can see why Robert
Warning
Williams would have
label,
loved to do this for a
warning.
career.
Explicit lyrics or explicit advisory or explicit content parental advisory. I've got a pin that says that actually. It's
Oh
like
my
the
God.
parental advisory warning. That's exactly what I used to wear.
Like, I'm not joking. If we're starting to talk about
I've got a
sex
good
magic
one.
and here, just charge.
I've got a good one.
Okay, let's hear
This
it.
is
Let's hear it,
bad.
Mikey. Come on, Mikey. Cowabunga.
What's the deal with airplane peanuts?
Okay.
No,
This is
no idea.
Uh,
Hey, I'll tell you a secret. Like all the comedians that I've seen, like to be honest, because I don't know if you guys believe in like remote viewing and astral projection, but like my energy signature is pretty unique. Where like whenever there's a live broadcast of some kind of Oscars or like any kind of live show, like a lot of the comedians they recognize me and they kind of like they have no choice but to acknowledge it. So like especially if you want to try it out, like just watch a live broadcast and see if you can quantum influence, because the comedians are highly spiritually evolved and they'll recognize you, like because they are not human, they're like elementals and stuff, and it'll be fun to and it'll be fun, and then
I love
you
that,
guys
man.
share it because we'd like to hear about that stuff, because then other people will believe that our world is not like just physical, it's
Fun
everything's
time.
connected, we're telepathic and stuff.
Oh yeah, man! I went to a dance in Austin, Texas, and I swear there were some elementals, and all those girls that I danced with,
Uh-huh.
pretty sure it felt like I was dancing with a pixie, like as light as they were, and like
Oh, come on. Don't tell me
they moved around to like everybody. I was like, oh, this is just joyful, right?
Oh my god, dude. It's
Well,
real.
just,
Magic is real, dude.
Just the
Magic
other
is
day, I was actually listening to Gabriel Iglesias, who's a Hispanic comedian, and one of the good ones, he calls himself Fluffy, and
Oh yeah.
it was funny because it was on my husband's phone, and for some reason, like I've actually had a bit of a bitterness against Hispanic cultures, not like I have a bitterness against all people, but I kind of always take everything Hispanic with a grain of salt because of my own personal experiences. But like I was just so sucked into it, like immediately, and then just to see like how he interacted with the crowd, and to see how a lot of comedians, they don't like put on acts. That's how they are all the time, and being able to show that to other people, it's like bringing this I don't know, this charisma and this energy to light and showing it to people, and that laughter is contagious because of that energy, I guess is what I'm trying to say, sort of confuddled, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it must be the most awesome, entertaining. I mean, between music and comedy, I mean, I see that's where it's at.
Yeah. Hip hop and everything's connected, dude. It's all connected. It's just like conscious flow.
Well, Eddie Murphy's a
Hey,
fairy.
yeah. Oh yeah, that guy's for real. Like his movie, right?
Hey,
Going back to
I
America.
am
Is
the
that what you
man
have
who's...
him as your avatar, your Google avatar?
He was...
What?
he's like, he's like, you are a king, Hakim. I am a man who has never tied his own shoes before.
When I was in the Navy, that was one of the two movies when I was in the separations. Like those were the two movies that we got to see. Was 300 and Coming to America was like the two movies that people would watch. Seriously, like people were like, "Who wants to watch 300?" No one. We want to watch Coming to America.
That is too funny of a movie, man.
Yeah, that movie is really funny.
Oh god.
I'm not into comedy, so
Michael, isn't that where your picture comes from?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
have a
that
picture
is.
that shows them as Employer of the Month. As soon as I saw that last night, I was like, oh my god, that's from Coming to America.
Oh yeah.
oh
Cause he's like quoting Nietzsche to the girl, and it's just that works there. It's just like, well, that's the thing. Most people at McDonald's don't quote Nietzsche.
To this day, I don't know. I still liked him in like that weird movie where he plays a guru. Like, he's like a
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I really like that movie. I just don't. I just don't remember who was in. He was
It's,
also in the
Jeff
one with Steve
Goldblum.
Martin. Jeff
I
Goldblum.
like Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum.
That was a good movie. Oh my god.
What was the name of the movie? Was it The Golden Child?
No.
Golden
It's like a
Child.
modern. Like that was like
It's a
in the
good
80s.
one.
No, this one was more like in the 2000s, I think, or maybe
Oh, okay.
like yeah.
Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle. I like the one when he plays like the stunt version of himself, like the twin kind of like, and he works with Steve Martin. You remember that? Steve Martin's
Was
like
that
the
the
director? And
No.
no. Was it the? No, it's not the jerk. It's the one when Steve Martin is the director, and he plays this geeky version with the braces, and he has to stand in.
Oh, that one's so funny.
Oh.
Bowfinger.
Bowfinger. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's got Eddie and Jimmy in it.
Jimmy? Who? Jimmy who?
Jimmy's Eddie's brother. Jimmy Murphy.
Oh,
Jimmy
for
Murphy.
real?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look a lot alike.
No, Charlie Murphy is.
Charlie.
Oh, is it Charlie?
no,
I thought it was Jimmy. Okay, yeah, Charlie Murphy. Okay.
That's the one, Charlie.
But yeah, his brother was in it with him.
I love how Charlie Murphy can then bring us to Dave Chappelle, who's
Yeah.
also a great comedian.
What was the main skit that they did? Like, what was that one guy? That one like.
Now you see, a man
James.
doesn't slap
Rick
another man in the face.
Yeah.
Rick James.
Wasn't Charlie Murphy somehow also in the thing about Prince? When Prince beat their butts in basketball and then made them pancakes after? Wasn't Charlie Murphy also in the group?
Yeah. He was in
I
there,
think
yeah.
so.
Oh my god.
I remember. What did the 5 fingers see to the face? Slap.
Slap. Dude, I use that. Yeah, dude, kids love that joke. I love that joke all the time.
Oh man. Okay, so we are gonna get into class. I just like to.
Okay. Warm up.
It gets the good hormones flowing.
Oxytocin.
You know, it
The
gets
love vibe.
it helps the learning be a lot quicker. You'll be learning about stars and shit today, so. It's,
Okay.
Oh, and what?
what happened? Why DNA?
Yeah, I just want to give thanks to you, Dr. Michael, because I'm just having a lot of laughter over here already, and it's like I just couldn't go to sleep right now.
You sound like it.
That's good.
Alright.
Mellow is good. After the lightning comes the rain.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
wish you can really get the nail.
You are a toy. You are a child's plaything. You're a sad, strange little man, Woody.
Are you talking about Toy Story? Oh, man. Oh, man. As above, so below, right? As above, so below.
I still think it's silly in the third movie. I still think that Andy should have just took those toys, put them in a box, and took them to college with him. See, that's what I would have done.
Okay. Don't ever mention that name ever again because my name is also Andy.
Oh, that's right, Andy.
Andy. Deanne. Ta-da!
Why DNA?
Oh wow, I never noticed that, Rex. That's actually pretty cool.
Are you trying to make fun of me?
That was good. That was a good one, Rex. I give that one to you.
Andy, the end.
Why DNA?
DNA. Andy.
Oh, that means yes, we're different.
You know, my first girlfriend, her name was Deanne. Deeann. So like I would use to nickname her where I would like switch the consonants. Ann would be first and D would be second. A-N-N D-E-E-E. So I was like palindrome for the victory.
Palindrome for the victory.
Alright.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know. I think. What do you guys think tonight's show is going to be about?
Laughter.
Making bubbles in the water?
Laughter, dude. Laughter is medicine.
Well, one thing I thought I would touch upon was the energies behind the letters.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's good.
Well, I mean, Andy has my middle name.
What's your middle name, Mr. Pruitt?
My middle name is Andrew.
Oh, shoot.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
shoot.
just interesting.
So you're
Now what?
so you're a map.
Yep. That was my hip hop name. That was my hip hop name. It was MAP.
MAP, showing you the direction to be.
Hey, if you take my last name
yeah.
backwards, M-A-H-P.
MAP. That was my hip hop name.
What
I used to be like.
What does MAP stand for?
I used to be like MAP, baby. You know.
MAP.
Let me show you the
I
way.
sound a lot better than that, of course, but you know.
NWA. Oh wait. Sorry.
I'm just like Christ, because I'll be the second coming.
Oh no. What was it? What was it that Russell Brand said?
Oh, Russell Brand?
I'm just like Christ. I let her come first, and then I come second.
Oh wow.
That's what Russell Brand said. That's what he said. He's like, I'm just like Jesus because of that.
Well,
I'm like, oh man.
He could be like the modern day.
George Carlin.
Oh, George Carlin, yeah.
I view him like a modern day George Carlin.
George Carlin.
I
Yes.
would have to
George
disagree.
Carlin.
George Carlin was a very intelligent man.
Yeah.
And I don't. Not that Russell Brand isn't intelligent, but he doesn't use that intelligence for his comedy as much as George Carlin did.
I don't know. Like Russell Brand is pretty freaking smart.
Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
is.
He's
I've
pretty
seen him on
smart.
interviews and
Have you
stuff.
seen some of the videos he
He's
did,
smart.
like talking about transcendental meditation?
Yeah,
Like, he just came out there. Oh, go ahead, AJ.
No. Go ahead. You're good.
No, I was saying, like, he just came out one day and he just said everything that, like, if somebody handed me a microphone and I was on Fox or CNN without any constraints, without any holding back or cutting me out and flipping to Bill O'Reilly or whoever I'm talking to and lets me say what I want to say, that would be it.
Yeah.
He was just
Yeah,
he
dude,
just went out and straight said it. Don't pay attention to these clothes and these things. These are things that will deteriorate. This is all this false materialism. And he just said it.
Yeah,
And I was
the
just
things
like-
that I wear these goofy boots and these ridiculous pants and tight pants and this ridiculous shirt, but you know what's important is what I'm saying. You know,
And the people are looking at him like. The people are looking at him like, oh my god, like, is this like an alien on
Tokyo.
screen?
It's like you know, you really want to wear that tie? Isn't that constricting? You say, you know,
And
listen
you
it up
know, you
sometimes.
just straight
No,
up said
don't
it.
do it because I tell you to. Do it because you want to. You know, just come in someday and don't be having a tie on. If you don't want to wear one, don't wear one. He said, but don't do it because I told you to.
Oh man, he just straight up said it, man.
He didn't know what direction to go.
He just straight up
He's
said
like,
it.
should I take
He
my
had
tie
those
off or leave
people.
it on? Well, that's up to
He
you,
had those
mate.
people from I forgot what they call it. These people were like really annoying. The Westboro Baptist Church or something. And he brought like a bunch of people,
Yeah.
like a bunch of the gay lesbian community, and brought them up there in front of these people. And these people just they couldn't, like, they still spoke their opinions. But everybody's up there dancing and having a good time, and he's asking questions, and he's just like, okay, so this, you know that these books were written by God, or written by the Holy Spirit. And he says, no, and then Russell Brand's like, no, it was written by human beings. Human beings. He said, no, it was written by the Holy Spirit. He's like, the Holy Spirit ain't got a pen. Anyway, that was funny, you know.
Fun time.
But anyways, we were gonna get into it. I just, I feel Robin Williams is coming. Something is winning me to tell jokes, man. So I think we just need it. There's too much shit going on.
Captain, my captain.
I think comedy is very healing, and it helps relieve some of the stress, the anxiety.
Thanks, man, so much.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, it just hit me.
You're gonna learn today, Michael. Like, especially
Like, there's some people that when they pass on, I mean, these people are still depressed. But this guy, at first, I thought maybe he'd be like that. But what I'm seeing is this dude is Sun Wukong up in there.
He's happy, dude. He's mother effing happy. Right?
He is, man. He wanted to go.
Yeah, he's like,
because I mean, they enjoy spending more time with animals and helping out and being in nature than, you know, being used.
Yeah.
I have to actually interject with a recent story, something that actually happened to my husband that kind of freaked him out. Here in Edmonton, they have something called the High Level Bridge. It's like 100 feet over the river. And, yes, up there, 5 different people just all in one day. Wow. So this bridge is the highest point above the water, and people tend to use it very frequently in order to take their own lives. And it actually kind of goes towards the dark side of people, and my whole belief that, you know, trying to change people's mentality of other people, because if I could have just talked to the people that did this to my husband one night, he was riding home, and he has to go across this bridge every night when he bikes home, and he was biking home, and literally 40 feet in front of him there was a guy walking, and out of nowhere, almost just like he was hopping a fence, dude just hopped over the bridge and committed suicide. Just hopped over, like literally, like was just walking one minute, and the next minute, so blasé, just jumped over. So my husband then tries to go in and call the cops, and his phone's not working. The closest people to him, he tried to stop, and they literally, like, he's like, you know, can I use your cell phone? And the person was like, no, and then like rushed away. Didn't even try to figure out why. Nothing. When you know, my husband was trying to figure out what had just happened for this person. But it was just an interesting story that I thought of since we were talking about the topic of that. And he was just telling me that today alone, 5 people took their lives, or yesterday, 5 people took their lives the same way.
The energies are intense, man. They're intense. The new energies.
I guess, really, you know, I mean, for a while I was thinking, okay, maybe it's just me and a couple other people. But I'm like, this is a collective thing that people are feeling, you know, intense energies. You know, I mean, there's certain things going on that it's just like they're all attention whores. A good portion of them.
Yeah, many. It's all distraction, really.
And it all distracts you from what you came here to do.
Raise the vibration of love, my friend. That's all we're here to do.
I think so many people don't realize that that's what they came here to do.
Full spectrum.
Right.
Like, I think so many people don't realize that our purpose in this life is to love one another. I don't think these people know that, and I think, you know, when they do that, I always wonder, like, if I could have talked to that person, you know, while they were going through that, and just say, well, if you're ready to give up your life, then give up your life, but give up your life to a bigger purpose than this, you know?
Right. At least be doing something, you know. All right, we are gonna get into it. This here, from what my master teacher taught me, and from the teachings that I received, the way he described it was Rosicrucian level. So this is beyond elementary, middle school, high school.
We're jumping right into college.
Yeah.
Right into college. University
level teachings.
Let's do it.
At least 2 college students here is a problem.
The thing that is interesting about it is because, like I said, this crazy bitch just showed up yesterday out of nowhere, and we don't know why and what she wanted, and she was kind of like...
She wanted attention.
creeping our style a little bit, you
Wait.
know.
Wait. What happened? Because I wasn't there for that. What's going on?
Basically, like Robert and Tony, like they mentioned something, a particular being,
He's not gonna say it.
Lillian?
a
Yeah.
Are
particular.
you afraid of her?
No.
I am
Dude,
not.
she came before Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
succubus
And all she
girl,
wanted
right?
to do was be considered equal to Adam.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
the
I
whole
get.
thing
I'm
was
only
Adam
speaking
tried
from
to
my
get on top of her,
experience.
and she wanted to lay beside him.
I think, yeah, I heard you say something about it. I'll tell you what I do know about the Lillian mythology. Like, that's her mythology where it's kind of like the way with Medusa. Like, her mythology, her backstory, but basically that backstory explains her superpower, her abilities. And that her unique like journey is to be independent, free spirit, and to not be, she's like Amazonian style. She's the archetype for the Amazonian, where like the female warrior archetype, not held back by the man. You know what I mean? Like that. If you take Adam as an archetype, Adam's like the first dude of the modern era, like the first human of the modern era, like that has been upgraded and redesigned. And then that most of us are redesigned after him, and then after that we evolve beyond that. But her is a unique meme, and that's why a lot of us guys are afraid of her, because she represents the darkness that is before or beyond our awareness. You know what I mean? That's why.
Well, I'm saying I was all like that. I was like, all that, respect the goddess. You're a goddess. You're beautiful, and do what you want. Like,
is a
it's all
bitch
good.
you don't fuck with. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
She is
yeah.
a cutthroat bitch. That's
Oh, it
all
was
I gotta
fun.
say.
It was fun for a while. It was fun for a while, but I woke up drained.
Yeah.
Sometimes hurting in certain areas. So she is.
I put my talisman out before I went to bed.
See, that's one of the things that was suggested to me once.
I tangled with her. Don't play with her.
It was a human. It was a human, but I'm saying it felt like a human accompanied by a being right
Spirit?
behind her, like with her hands, like watching over, like like right behind her.
I faced
And
her
she
in my
uses a lot of
dreams before.
surrogates, bro. They're just
You gotta
surrogates.
understand, Lilith wasn't originally like that, Rex. That's just part of the myth. Before that, Lilith was actually a benevolent goddess, and not really. Yeah. So she was perverted. She was perverted by the Catholic Church, and that energy was pushed into her, was pushed toward her, and just like any archetypes,
So
our
the
beliefs
energy is
bring.
perverted.
You're saying that her programming got corrupted, is what you're saying. If we're talking in terms of the Matrix, her programming got corrupted.
Oh, she's upset about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So she does have some animosity toward mankind, but at the same time, if you call her out for who she really started out as, she remembers. So I'm not afraid of her because she's a benevolent goddess.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's what I wanted to. I wanted to, because I'm strong with the feminine energy. Like, I respect it so much.
Oh,
the whole
you have to fear it too, my friend. You have to fear it too, because it's not just a respect. If you don't fear her, she'll be like, "Bitch, you want me to? I'll prove to you that I'm a badass." And
no, you have to respect her. I don't think she wants fear. She just wants respect. Because I've had her in my dreams before. I really have. I've had her in my dreams before.
What did you learn then?
She was scary.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
She looked like one of the Skeksis off of the Dark Crystal. Her head hanging down sideways with this red robe. And I'm like, whoa.
Hey, some people might find that attractive.
I'm not invoking that side of you. I'm invoking the beautiful aspect of benevolent goddess, and it just changed. She just changed.
Hey, some people like that dirty
woman. And with a brilliant smile. It's like, oh, okay. I was like, but seriously, I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Is what I told her. I don't know where it come from, but yeah, because I didn't want to mess with her. I didn't want to mess with her, but yeah.
I was exactly. So what this is to create a shield. Now the difference is this is not anything towards messing with anyone's free will. We practice the creed in the sense as do what you will as long as it harms none.
Yep. That actually comes
That's
from
the most
Wiccan.
important thing.
And it harm none, do what thou wilt. That's the Wiccan creed. But it is also do unto
The law
others
of
as you would.
non-interference.
Yeah, it's non-interference. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or the negative golden rule: do not do unto others as you would have them not do to you.
Or do unto
True.
others as you would like them to do unto you, meaning like you respect other people's wishes for themselves, and then hopefully they'll respect your wishes for yourself.
Your
like,
wishes.
like for example, if you're a pagan, you're a Christian, I'll respect your wishes as long as you don't encroach on my territory, and like we just live in coexistence.
Well, and I take it even a
Exactly.
step further into like the whole incarnation thing. That if I ever run to myself in this lifetime in another existence, how would I treat me?
Ah, okay. Yeah. So exactly. So that's the whole. We get to that. That is the whole point is the law of non-interference. Now, some people get into certain things and they're just like, well, they can cast hexes on people, and believe me, you do not want that shit.
Nope.
You don't want to see people suffering, and you don't want to see yourself suffering, because if you make someone else suffer, then it will most likely manifest itself with you suffering in that sense.
A perfect example is not necessarily suffering, but something you would consider to be benevolent, like a love spell. All right, but let's say you do cast a love spell, and this person does fall in love with you. Well, what if you don't? You fall out of love with them, or what if you feel guilty for putting them in the love spell, but they continue to love you, and every time you see them, it reminds you of that guilt. See how that works?
Oh,
So,
trust
you know
me,
what
it's happened with the love spell. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony, I got to say something because if I don't say it now, I forget. Like, but this is the most important thing for anyone who's new out there. A lot of you guys may not realize how powerful you are, and when you start out, you start messing with things because you think that this is not going to happen. There's no consequences, and then you find out, oh my God, it's real. Magic is real. This shit is real. I'm so sorry. No, it's too late. You gotta deal with consequences and fallout. But guess what? It's okay. Just own up to your mistakes and just live with it, and you'll learn. Things will get better. Don't give up. Don't end it. Like don't do the dead end like shortcut, because you're just gonna start over anyway, and you're gonna start from scratch, and you'll be like, oh, I gotta do this whole thing again. Might as well start out where you are, where you're an adult, and you can make conscious decisions and like learn from your mistakes and keep evolving. Do not end your life. It's not worth it. Okay? Especially if you realize reincarnation, the whole point is to master skills and then acquire unique abilities and serve a role. You're a servant of God and the cosmos and Earth. You're here to help people, not hurt them.
I'm here to serve
Yes.
myself.
Yes.
To be totally honest,
what I was going to say.
I'm actually here to serve myself.
Exactly.
No, for everyone's sake.
No,
You know,
but
not
if you
just-
think about that on a deeper level, I consider you myself, I consider Sherman myself, and everybody in this hangout
in
myself,
Lakesh.
and everybody in this
And
world
another
myself.
yourself.
In Lakesh.
So yeah, so if you, like I was saying earlier, if I reincarnated in this own existence, how would I treat me? So I serve myself in this essence that everything is myself. So I serve everything for the purpose of benevolent evolution, basically.
And it's
I'll
not
take the fall.
narcissistic if you understand what he's talking about.
No, it's not. Like, this idea, like, I know that we're all related, so I'll take the fall because I know it's a bluff. Like, that the whole Jesus meme is not to be, like, Lord and Savior. He's, like, the self-sacrificing, like, soul, like, he's the self-sacrificing thing so that others can raise up.
Well,
That's
you know
the
what
role I
Messiah,
play, 'cause that's how
you
I
know
feel
what
about
Messiah
it.
actually, I thought Messiah was like,
Messenger. Messenger.
exactly,
That's all it
so how'd
means.
that become Savior?
Hey,
Actually, the same
I-
word from
I think
Messiah
that-
and Freemason are actually the same linguistics. Freemason,
I find it funny that
Messiah
Savior
come from
and-
Messin.
I think that Savior came from the idea, like, the original Savior was a woman, if you think about it. Like, because who saves Jesus? Jesus was dead on the cross. I think Mary Magdalene is the Savior,
Mary Magdalene.
not Jesus. Okay? Mary Magdalene.
She does have her own gospel.
She's the Savior. She is the Savior.
According to the Gnostic
Yeah, they do.
Gospels,
What we got on our picnic basket?
Yeah,
No,
according
I'll be
to
right
the
back.
Gnostic
I just need to go to dinner. I'm just gonna get dinner real quick. I'll be right back.
Well, forget the range of it, but I'm smarter than the average bear.
I like Flintstones, man. I like
No,
Flintstones.
but yeah, seriously.
Combined
But
with
in all seriousness, yeah, Mary Magdalene in the Gnostic Gospel, the Apocrypha, the lost books of the Bible, whatever you want to call it, the Gospel of Mary, and also the Gospel of Thomas. It's considered and referred to that Mary Magdalene was Jesus' chosen disciple, and Peter got upset about it, and he's like, "Well, she's a woman. Why are you teaching a woman things that you won't teach a man?" And he said, "Because she's ready. She's spiritual. She's not carnal." And she's like, "Well, what about the law that you're not supposed to teach a woman these things?" And then Jesus allegedly said, according to the Gospel of Mary or Thomas, I'm not sure which one, that I will teach her as a man. Well, then I will teach her as a man, basically. In other words, it doesn't matter what gender she is. She's going to learn what she can learn.
You know, that's what I
I can't hear you very well, Andy. Can you speak up?
that's something that I just don't get about whenever I go to the Christian traditions. It's like they always big on being man or woman. Like it doesn't make any sense, you know.
It's a matriarchal religion, that's why. Or patriarchal religion. Matriarchal.
They worship the god cock. They love the obelisk, the circumcised penis. They worship Osiris. It's always
right out.
To like the,
there's no such thing as Jewish. They're all Egyptian.
Merlin school is rated R.
oh my god.
It's true, man. They worship the god cock.
This is true, but yeah, but you could say the phallus.
Yeah. It's same difference, man. Osiris lost his thing. And
Well,
then,
you know, but it depends on
you have
who's
to
watching
read-
this, you know.
Wait, what was it? ISIS? Was it ISIS who had to find?
Because the children.
Wait, what's that?
You know, like Andy's always talking about, there could be children watching this, and you're sitting there talking about the God Young.
Didn't we just say college and then now the children?
I'm sorry, but I've actually witnessed what a lot of the youth watch nowadays.
Oh,
and this
absolutely,
is
yeah. I
so
know.
tame.
It is
No.
so tame. You have a point.
And Merlin's Mystery School.
on my YouTube account.
But yeah,
Who do you think is
Okay, we need to mute other people because I cannot hear. I don't think
All right.
because everyone else. It does something when Andy tries to talk and other people are talking.
Okay,
Alright.
so
do you guys realize
let's get back to class. Back to class. Back to class. Back to class. Teacher in session right now.
all right
All right.
Captain, my
15 year
So, thank you, Captain. So what we're gonna go into.
don't worry Dr. Michael.
What we're gonna go into. What I was saying is what you do. Okay, basically because this is not about trying to prove anything to anyone or harming anyone, but what you do is, if anyone wants to be a dumbass and attempt to harm you, what you do is you put your deities, whether it be a hero that you have or somebody like, for me, like Bruce Lee was very inspiring to me. What you do is you put him in a Wing Chun or a karate stance so that anyone attempts to harm you, you have them in a blocking in a karate stance going, what the hell? You know, and it comes back to them. Sorry for my bad.
That is a way
But,
to
you
put
know.
it, though. Yeah, that is a way to put it. Yeah, you manifest a form to protect you.
Do you know
So
how I put
they
my
are in a defense stance or in a warrior or a horse stance for you, but it's not. It's in the sense is if somebody strikes, all you're doing is self-preservation, and that's the only reason you're doing it, because it's really not about protection. Like we said, it's about love. So if you keep putting about putting up all these walls, then how can you ever get to some love? You got too much protection going on, you know.
Too much barriers.
So, too much barriers. So what it is you just have them, you know, standing there, you know, like you see, you know, some of the statues, Shaolin monk style, you know, or whatever style you prefer, and what the deities do and your ancestors and what they all do is stand in a karate stance to protect if anyone wants to be stupid, in a sense, you know, put a little doll and poke some needles into it and be like, haha, that represents you. You know, you have someone,
Yeah, or what
you
you
have protection.
Or what you could do is stare them straight in the eyes and put a suggestion if they see a 50-foot Goku behind you.
Ah, good thinking, Tony.
Tony, here's
That's an
another one.
It's just,
How about thing? My deity isn't actually a guy, but actually a girl, and most of the time I would put that deity where they would strip her body to the point where that whoever it is can see her boobs, and then all they do is like got mesmerized, and then I just like take off and run.
Mm-hmm.
Diversion, that works.
What I'm saying is for certain people, when you get that certain vibe, like I did with her name that shall not be spoken,
Shall not be
that certain, that certain vibe that you get, you could feel like, okay, maybe this person does not understand the laws of karma or may not care, and in that sense they could, I don't know, one, either, you know, try to put an evil eye on you, put a hex, whatever they think they can do.
I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
Exactly. Exactly. And see, if you understand the true principles of magic, you can say shit like that because it's the truth.
Yeah, it actually is, yeah.
As funny and as corny as it may sound.
Yeah, it's childish, but that's, you know, that's part of being, you let him release that inner child, so you can get that that feeling of inspiration, of imagination.
Exactly. Oh, I wasn't saying you were being corny, Tony.
Oh, I was, though. I'll be the first one to admit it. But it's
We're
okay.
very accepting here, you guys.
What's wrong with being corny, you know? Whatever.
I mean,
hey, you guys, I
corny's
was
not
wondering,
that far from being horny, so...
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Are you like, cause if we were talking about Defense Against Dark Arts, I guess we're talking about like a Harry Potter kind of like universe, or like,
well,
have you heard of like Percy Jackson and stuff like that? Like,
Oh,
do you
yeah,
know
that's
those?
pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Percy's basically
Well,
Perseus.
What my idea
Perseus,
was
yes, the
for tonight's
reincarnation.
show... Go ahead, Rex.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, cause like the Holy Trident, like, cause in Percy Jackson series, he represents the Trident, right? But he's like the adopted son, or like the son of Zeus, which is like a weird conundrum, cause he's like Poseidon reincarnated. And I was just wondering, like, cause the Holy Trident has been so maligned in Western cultures, but in the Hinduism and Eastern cultures, they still kind of like honor the Trident as a symbol that you can definitely like imagine or use like in your mind if you think of it as a sigil, like it, because you know, like, because if you think about it, I think especially the Western traditions where they kind of vilify these symbols so that it's actually preventing people from using these symbols as a protective tool.
The Trident.
Yes, the Trident is a very powerful, like the Holy Trinity, right? Like they even say it, like the Holy Trinity, and yet they malign the pyramid, the triangle. They're so afraid of everything, and like, but then they admit, like, I can't do anything to defend myself. I'm powerless. Might as well just sit here, wait for the apocalypse. What the hell?
The point of Christianity is to surrender yourself to God and to Jesus Christ and to the Holy Ghost,
And
which is that Holy Trinity, and that Holy Trinity will protect you. So it's almost like saying you got a 50-foot Goku behind you, but instead of it being Goku, it's the Holy Trinity.
Right.
Goku.
Well, one thing about that whole surrender. Oh, Andy, I didn't realize you was talking. Well, you're cutting out whenever somebody else is talking.
I love the Triforce though.
Yeah, the Triforce.
Like, here's something that I like, going back to what Janet was talking about, like the Trinity and like especially like the Holy Spirit and everything. Here's what happens is that when you, it's like first they're trying to take off, distract you guys from going first into like whatever forces that is good by giving it a bad rap, and then after that they try to turn all that into a force that uses towards them only, like selfish reasons, you know. That's what what they meant. That's why half the time when the more you worship the God that Christianity puts out in front of you, the more the church gets wealthy. The moment we cut the hell out of God and we murdered him, that's the moment that he's gone for good.
Well, that's kind of like what Nietzsche said.
God is dead.
That's what Nietzsche, Nietzsche, the philosopher, he said God is dead already. We don't need to worship him. We should be worshiping the Superman.
Well, no. What he was saying is that because people have put this whole type of thing around him that he needs to be, that it's a he, and that he needs to be worshipped, all this certain thing. People forgot the whole message of what the dude was really trying to say, and put him, you know, as, you know, made him like a celebrity type of guy, like a Perez Hilton, you know, and basically they forgot the message, and they were saying that the people that did that killed God in that sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and
that's what Nietzsche was saying, from what I read.
Yeah. But like, here's the thing,
because
like,
I'm saying that's the confusion. I'm saying the Yeshua guy, he may have said a few things to a certain people if he historically existed.
Yes.
And it all ran out of whack.
Because he challenged the authorities, the Jewish authorities, the corruption.
Right.
Like, he saw the corruption. Like, this is the thing, I have to remind you. They deified him in order to quell the masses from uprising. Like, that's what happened. The truth is, he's a rebel. He said, like, he saw some stuff that was messed up in the temple. He's like, this is the house of God. You shouldn't be, like, gambling and doing all that kind of nonsense. Then they crucified him. And then now they have you worshiping that image of a guy who's been tortured and beaten and dead. Like, that's the subliminal thing that they're trying to tell you. If you try to question the church, we're going to fucking do the same thing that we did to this guy.
Right, but that's never what he said.
I know.
See, I have to disagree with what Rex just said, because, like I said, growing up as and a Methodist, maybe it's because I grew up as a Methodist, but when you actually listen to them, and a lot of what churches is them decoding the scripture or saying what they think of the scripture to give your mind like something to follow. And at least with the Methodist teachings, it wasn't, you know, if you defile the church, you know, this is the message we're sending you. It was more of that, you know, he did this for us. He did this to try to keep corruption out of the church, and because of that, you know, he went through all of this suffering and he was martyred, and that's what we should remember, is that he doesn't want that corruption, and so we need to keep that corruption out ourselves. That's more of what I think at least Methodist people try to see.
It sounds like a bargain.
What I'm saying is not placing, see, what the thing is like basically, say you've got a bunch of good people. Now, I haven't ever seen this before, but say you have a bunch of open-minded, beautiful people on Fox News, and say, I'm just using it as an example, hypothetically, Bill O'Reilly says something around all those people. Or does that make Bill O'Reilly the same as all those people around him? See, if somebody just says something, it can get interpreted because there's so many people that's going to look at it and say, oh, I see what that means. Walk on water, yeah. You know, oh, you know, we can apply this to alchemy. Oh, walk on water, you can physically do that. Oh, walk on
Maybe
water, you
Jesus
cannot
is
physically
Perseus.
do that. Oh, there's no physics to that. So I'm just saying you get all these different types of minds and attempting to interpret it with their level of consciousness from their experiences, and that's what they can give you. But what I was saying is what you can do is forgive at least the historical Yeshua, or
Can I
whatever
just
his
say
name
something?
was.
Can I just say something? Because this is how I
Yeah, no
feel
problem.
strongly about the misconceptions. Like, I feel like this is what happened. They basically homogenized all the Christian sects into what SECT, not the SEX, but SECT, all the like into one kind of like umbrella, and like they basically took all the Greek mythology and reinvented these characters in this brand new mythology. That's what they did, and by reinventing the mythos, this book of spells, it basically rewired an entire generation for the next 2 millennium on how they should proceed in like this whole worship of Zeus, which they renamed Jupiter or like Jehovah. But basically, it's like it's Saturn versus Jupiter, Satan versus Jehovah. It's the same planetary cosmic tale, but like filtered into this binary system of good versus evil. And that's what the problem with this religion thing, this binary system, is when you put on the binary binoculars, everything has to either be good or evil. It doesn't have any like you don't open your ideas and mind to like the fact that there's a lot of gray area, and it's not like no one is just either good or evil. There are interplaying in multiple degrees and layers, and you have to get to know each piece of the puzzle in order to understand the greater picture. You can't just say, oh, this is in the devil pile, this is in the good pile, and then that's how you create division. And I don't think the original Jesus is about division. He's about unifying everyone. That's the whole cosmic Christ.
Well
That's
said.
my opinion.
Oneness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah.
What?
You feel me? You feel me? Yeah.
Got it.
Boy.
Hi, hi, hi.
Oh, hi.
There was a funny thing.
Snap,
Go
snap,
ahead, Sherman.
snap.
Oh, I guess I was just gonna hop on the end of what Rex was saying, but I mean, and we've talked about this before. I try not to get too caught up in the who said what or who came when, because in all honesty, I believe it's about the consciousness aspect of it. It's about striving to achieve that Christ consciousness, which is personally what I believe. If he did, or whenever he did, Christ, regardless of whichever one we're talking about, came to show and teach us was, I do have all the answers in terms of how to live. If you want to, quote unquote, live eternally, live the way I do. Live selflessly like I do. Give like I do. Like, it's all about achieving that mindset of a Christ consciousness, which I think is really, really interesting. And I think it's also really simple. Like, I find it so funny when I look at, the study of the Bible, and it's quite literally, I feel like, just pertaining to Jesus specifically, it's like, it's like just basically Christ saying, live as I do, and you will live as I do, which, apparently some point down the line is eternally. And then if you take that internally, and then you realize that the true Christ lies within all of us, and that we just... Anywho, yeah, it's really simple, I feel like. It's just, it's just live as I did, and achieve that mindset of Christ consciousness. And I think that's where really, like, we all kind of, I don't even know if it's subconsciously, but strive to get to, because, it's just, living selflessly. It's a great, beautiful way to live, but it's not simple.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Easier said than done.
Now, one thing that
I think we just love each other so much that we forgot that we love each other.
No,
We just need
seriously.
to remind ourselves
I know
every day.
It's definitely all forgotten. Like, you guys were talking about it earlier. Like, I remember, like, Jenna had mentioned, and a few other you guys had mentioned, like, and I know we've talked about it in past chats before, but it's like, we've all come here for a purpose, and we all, picked our bodies before we came here, and we all wanted to do it because we all knew, looking down or up, I don't know, just from the ether, being in the ether as a soul, looking down, being like, oh, I'm going to go to Earth. Why? Because I'm going to help, do X, you know what I mean? And then through, I guess, the birthing process, we all kind of forget why we came to Earth to do all of these things. And I feel like before we do anything else, like our main purpose should be, we should remember why we came here. Some of us, have an easier time with that, and some of us spend our entire lives trying to remember. But at the end of the day, it's all about the love.
Cascade.
Yeah, exactly, Sherman. That's well said. It's all about the love. It totally. If you actually consider the whole idea of creation and the idea of one becoming two, just the numeric base of the whole situation, you cannot have a consistent and I guess the word I'm looking for is benevolent, creative process that is continual without love, because eventually destruction would come in if there is no respect, no unity, no harmony.
Oh my God, you guys. That's it. That's what this is about. The ultimate defense against the
Isn't that
dark
what
arts.
the hippie movement, the concept of it was about?
Well,
Love?
that's what I was trying to ask, guys. Like, seriously, like, that's what I was asking. Like, so if we know that there is no such thing as there is such called the darkness, because everything is one. Everything derives from one another. Then why bother defending the dark forces?
It's ridiculous.
I think it's a dialectic. It's a misnomer. The whole idea of comparing light and dark to good and evil is absolutely ridiculous. Because if you can, because darkness is just the absence of light. It is
That's like saying I hate soil.
Where
Dude,
evil is an absence of education. It's ignorance. Plain and simple.
That's the reason. Why in the world do we have to defend against the dark arts or defense against the dark forces when there is no dark?
That's the title of the show.
Well,
no, but Andy brings up a good point.
But if you look at darkness, let me jump in here real quick. If you look at darkness as ignorance and you defend against ignorance, then the way you do that is through. You bring it into awareness. You bring whatever that darkness you're facing into the awareness of their own truth and possibly
I think darkness is
cosmic and universal truth. Like the
it can be whatever you interpret it to mean. That's what the thing is. We're all arguing semantics, but actually it's just concepts, and it depends on what we have to try to understand. We have to relate to each other from where we come from. Yeah, like.
Did you realize that when I read in Carl Jung's psychology book, he said that being enlightened is not about trying to imagine light bodies or light beings, but it's just making the darkness conscious.
Okay.
That was the most hilarious moment.
Okay.
Forget darkness.
Back
Forget
to
darkness.
class.
Forget lights.
Back to
Forget
class.
darkness. Forget
Okay,
lights.
we're becoming philosophers now. Okay, back to class. Back to class.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, now everyone is.
I think he was saying next class.
Oh,
I think he's
next
trying to move
class.
on. Are you trying to move on? Because I think he wanted to say something.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying because we're talking about what we already know, and we want to get to what we don't know.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's the only reason I said that.
Well, how about this? Everyone's heard the concept of energy and how we're surrounded by it. Now, if we were to actually take that and erase everything we know, Jesus, Buddha, everything else. Now you're talking about division of light and darkness, right? What if there is no light? What if there is no darkness? What if there's just negativity and positivity? Same as negative and positive electricity.
Yes.
Now with positive energy, right? Positive energy begets more positive energy. It perpetuates itself. Now, if someone actually was to actually concentrate on actually just the positive energy, right? Forget about Jesus, forget about Buddha, just forget about the names, because really all they are is just human words. I could say Jesus, I could say Buddha, but it's the exact same idea. Yep. Now, but maybe I'm kind of losing myself here. Hold on a second here.
Shake it up.
Come on.
We either follow. We can. Sorry. I love you. Anyway. Now, there's negative emotion and positive emotion, right? And both are in the exact same categories, negative energy and positive energy. Now, if we spend all of our time, spreading positive energy, Like, for example, say I see...
love. Just spreading in positive energy and love.
Yeah, love. Yeah, exactly. Like, say for example, I see a person on the street, and something within myself tells me that they're lacking some positive energy. Maybe they need, for example, a cup of coffee, or maybe they're lacking money, or maybe they haven't been getting all the positive emotion that they've needed in their life. There's a void there.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
because of that, they're in their, shoot. Help me here, baby. Help me.
I guess because of that void, the void necessarily isn't. I actually don't really know where you're going with this. I love
Yeah.
you to death. I love
It
you to
sounds
death.
to me like that you're considering imbalance. That
Yeah,
they're out of
basically,
balance.
yes. I'm trying to actually get the wallet balance here.
Let me try to tell you.
One thing I was going to say, because I know Andy was trying to say without dark, you mean not expelling the dark. No, because we're not talking about expelling the dark. We're talking about defense against it, because at the end of the day, those parts are all parts of us, and you can't escape that. But if you focus on the light and you tip that balance towards the light, then it's a one way to defend yourself from falling into being all dark. So I guess that's kind of what I was trying to say to Andy.
The alchemist. Very good point.
That's
Yeah.
It does
Look
come
at-
out basically down the balance of everything.
That is what, like in this movie called Lucy, I like. Andy
Okay,
and- me
okay,
and
but
I,
we're talking about what we already know. Let's get into what we don't know. Okay,
Well, you was
empty
talking
the teacup.
you was talking about energies earlier. Of course, whenever. Oh, I was just gonna go into something here.
Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all was talking about energies earlier, and a lot of the time that you deal with magic, you deal with a lot of Hebrew. Now, Hebrew, yes, it's in the Bible, but it's way, it's way, way, way deeper than that. I can give you some examples if you want, just to kind of touch upon it. But there's energies at work in the Hebrew letters, which you don't necessarily have to know, but it's good information to have so you realize what's actually going on. It's just like the whole ceremonial magic. You can practice Wiccan magic and get similar results. It's just where you feel comfortable with in your studies. This is ceremonial magic, high magic. That's just one particular type of magic. Merlin himself really didn't practice high magic. He practiced Druidic magic, which had to do with the three rays of On and a completely different belief system. But we'll get into that later. But so, yeah, whenever you do like what we was talking about on Facebook, the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, and all that stuff to quote unquote protect yourself from darkness, what you really do is brightening your own light and coming closer to your own awareness of what is within you and your ability to create a circle around you that can keep out adverse energies. I don't like saying negative and all that stuff, but yeah. I understand where you're coming from, Jenna's companion. I don't know, what's your name?
Hold on, it's Dell. This is Dell.
Okay, Dell. Okay, yeah, Dell. I do see where you're coming from, but yeah, there's just yeah, like I like saying like receptive and progressive because they're both positive natures of the same thing, energy. You have a receptive nature, you're willing to receive, where a progressive, you're willing to reach out, and that's basically the whole process of protons and electrons. But what I'm going to go with right now is I'm just going to read off some of these, just to start with, a couple of the Hebrew letters and what their names are, what they're originally basically looked at as far like Aleph is an ox goad. Well, what does that mean? But whenever you get down to the bare nature of it, the Hebrew letters have energies associated with them. I was talking to somebody about this last night. I don't remember who it was, but I'll just bring them up just for an example. I can go ahead and go through all 22 of them if you want, but I don't know if we really want to go there. But at any rate, like Aleph, A. Actually, the alphabet comes from the Hebrew alphabet, and it's I don't know if y'all are aware of that, but that's where, of course, there's 27 letters in the alphabet, but there's only 22 letters in the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. Now, but you have to go back to the source. So that's one thing that magic is coming back to that source, the all, the Almighty, the infinite living mind that we all are. Okay, the Aleph, A, the energies associated with it is the dual principle that represents all that exists and all that does not exist, positive and negative, life and death. Yeah, these are actually in the Torah and the different Hebrew creative myth stories and stuff of that nature. Bet, B, is a symbol of all habitations and receptacles of anything that contains. So if you draw a circle, that is a representation of Bet. Gamal is an activity or motion of contained, limited existence or non-existence. It's Aleph in Bet. Where Dalet is a door in Hebrew, it's the archetype of physical existence. Hey, which is one of the names of God we'll be working with later in the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, it's the principle of universal life. And I'll go on through, Wa, like Yod-He, Wa-He, is the archetype of all fertilizing substances. Here, if you notice, all these energies are working toward creation. Zayin is the completed fertilizing act. Chet is the enclosure of unevolved cosmic energy. Tet is the symbol of the initial female energy. Hod, or Yod, is the opposite of Aleph. It's a steady state of continuity. Ka
That must be where they got Yoda from.
Yeah,
is the archetype of receivers. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, steady state of continuity.
Yeah, same thing over
you
here.
You can look these up. I'm just kind of breezing through them, of course.
Andy, you're typing to Rex. Come on, man.
Lamed is
but
pay
the
attention.
symbol of consciousness, the connecting link. But you got to remember, these are all just abstract ideas of energies at work in the universe, and they've organized them into a 22 ideogram system.
Right, and same thing.
But that's what we're dealing with. Now, just touching upon those, let me go ahead and go into something else real quick, and then I'll let you have the stick, Andy. Bereshit is the word. Actually, it's the first part of the Biblios, the Sacramento Biblios, the Holy Bible. But Biblios, all that means is book in Greek. But what you have is Bereshit, in the beginning. This word is made up of the letters Bet, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, and Tet. And of course, I've already told you that each one of those letters represents a certain energy. According to this preceding letter code that I just told you about, this initial word would be interpreted as follows. The Spirit of God brought into continuous expression the dual principle of life and death, the pulsation of existence by containing and realizing it in an infinite array of cosmic manifestations in the beginning. So that kind of gives you an idea of what Hebrew's all about as far as a magic language. Whenever we start doing the God names and stuff like that, you'll realize there are actually energies behind these weird-ass words we're going to be saying. Okay.
I give a good example.
Okay, go for it.
I think I told you, Tony, one time, now this was, I was still in the Christosian indoctrination. I was making my way through the cave, if you will, and I said, well, instead of Jesus, I heard that the name was Yeshua. So I said, I'm gonna say that. What the heck? I'm just gonna say Yeshua instead. I said it, and light came from the window and projected itself onto my Batman Joker poster, if you can believe that. That's why I can say it makes it even more real for me because it showed up in mysterious ways. This figure had like a beard, long hair, looked like he had a robe on, everything. Maybe 5 foot tall, or he looks shorter to be on a poster, but appeared just by me saying Yeshua. Yeah. So it definitely is a language, and there definitely is an energy, obviously connected with Yeshua. And I still have that on my Facebook. I to this day, people can look at it and see, you know, it happened.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Tony. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that was fine. That actually just that led right in with what I was talking about. That what we're learning, or what you're here to learn, and we're trying to explain, is that these magic systems are, in essence, what you've been dealing with as far as consciousness shifts and awareness. They're a language that you can use to systematically organize energies that are abstract. And it's a language that you can use to speak with some of those entities that you might not be able to speak with otherwise, because you don't know the language. Where that's what we're, and it's not just Hebrew. They have this also in Aramaic, I guess Arabic or whatever. If that's the same thing, Hindu. There's so many different magic systems, and all those are. Crowley's definition of magic is the science and art of causing change to occur within the world or in material in conformity with will, using methods that aren't currently understood by Western traditional science. Of course, white magic is for conversation with your holy guardian angel, spirit guide, or what have you.
What you like the Golden Dawn, where Aleister Crowley and all the things that you brought up, like how he learns magic, some of the system, most of it actually came from Tibetan Buddhism. That
does not surprise me, because to me most systems actually have their origin in Hermetics and the Kabbalion and the 7 universal laws, because it all goes back to that as far as what you're doing and how, and what, because of vibration, you vibrate the God names and a sound comes out, sound's energy. So
like going back to what you did about defending the dark arts and everything, like here's what they did. Like, we don't actually have that much alphabets or letters, because for example,
Andy, let me say something before I forget, if you would.
Sure.
What I was going to say is that is one definition. That's Crowley's definition. But magic is basically just it's a system. It's a system, and there's several different types of systems of magic. But what the main purpose of magic is to set up a language that you can communicate energies with yourself and the universe, and understand those energies that you're trying to communicate.
Like here's the funny thing, like for example, in Hebrew, we use letters and alphabets to actually get the emotions out of it, right? Well, to Buddhism, we took a different term where instead of doing just simply letters, like, because we only have like only 12, 13 letters in our alphabet in Tibet. But the only thing is the only difference is that when we invoke, like when I do Claire Home, for example, and some of the Dzogchen meditation some of you guys been through, is like it's actually a male energy coming out of it. And when I invoke the word in there, it's actually female energy. But when you invoke home, which is the universal letter, that's like androgynous. It's like both sides. You know this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's just like if you invoke Dionysus or Apollo or Thor or Zeus or Odin, you're going to get a masculine feel from that. Or if you invoke Aphrodite, Persephone, Ceredwen, from the Celtic myths, even like let's see, what's another one? Diana, very common. Demeter. All of those are just, they're just, those will, of course, those will invoke feminine types of energies to be dealt with. And, of course, whatever particular type of aspect that they've been organized into throughout time and given energy in, like agriculture, war, strategy, like Athena, strategy in battle. So those are also there as well, and you can tap into those energies. But that's what it is it's basically a way of communicating energies between God and self and God, which is one and one.
But
Tony.
The truth is, those are all energies, even, and especially the ones that lived physically here on Earth, because they live physically. This is just what I've known and experienced, or from what I've heard, is that certain energies that did not physically or historically live on Earth, they can't really help you in a sense of saying, if your goal is, I need help with rent or paying bills or certain things, because they never had a physical life here, so they can't understand what it is to do something like that. Versus if you asked an ancestor who they've been here, an ancestor or a friend or someone in the spirit world, they can help because they understand what it was like.
Right.
Well,
Especially,
well, I was just going to say real quick, one thing about rent and stuff like that, what you're basically talking about is prosperity, or and being able to live in happiness. And there are gods and goddesses back in the day that were responsible, did have that energy put into them. It wasn't considered rent, but it was considered feeding their children, having a crop, which was their livelihood. So there was gods and goddesses that did have domain, I guess is the word that you would use, in that particular field. But it wasn't considered like rent or bills, but it was livelihood. Okay, Andy.
Right. So going back to what you said about
that's the thing.
Your ancestors, the reason why you can communicate more easily with your ancestors than, for example, with, like, in my tradition, we would communicate with her. The reason why is because your ancestor is a person who's not only lived here, but have a personal connection with you. So pretty much the atoms between both of us are pretty much like we share one particular identity. And so if one person were to, like for example, go away, and we call that person just according to quantum mechanics, if one side got affected, then the other one got affected also. And the direct link is even stronger. Because
one thing that you're touching upon ancestry, there's one thing that really, it's a field of magic actually that works predominantly with ancestry and has some beautiful, beautiful rituals and respectful rituals, because whenever you're dealing with ancestors, they've moved on. So you got to be like respectful and say, hey, I don't want to bother you, but I'm having a problem here. Could you help me out?
True.
And leave your particular life for a moment. You have to be respectful to that. And that particular religion, not religion, but magic system is shamanism, and it's not just Native American. But whenever you're mainly dealing with ancestries, that's where a lot of it happens at, is in shamanism, and there's shamanism around the world.
Yeah, same thing over in Tibetan Buddhism.
It's just like Michael was talking about earlier about talking to Robin Williams. That's shamanic.
Like, that's the thing.
And that's actually what I want to do.
Walking with one foot in both worlds.
I want to get you guys to the point, when we get to it, is have you actually get into talking to, have to be careful, because you need to learn discernment to make sure that you're not just talking to somebody who says, oh, hey, man, I'll give you the key, You want to talk to someone that for sure. You say, like, what was the color of my underwear, when I was here? And if they give you the accurate answer, that's them.
What was my favorite underoos?
Just an example. You don't have to ask them that, but
oh yeah.
just so you know that was them.
Yeah,
Right,
you have to
right.
validate.
Okay,
You have
Michael,
to
15 minutes,
validate.
go. Let's learn how. Okay.
No, that was my joke because you kept talking about, okay, I want to get some practices, I want to get some exercises in, and now we got like 15 minutes left. So it's like,
Oh, okay.
we got 15 minutes in, go.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Okay, thank you for reminding me. Okay,
you're
no, so.
Welcome back,
We're
AJ.
gonna get into the practices. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't mean to cut you off, Andy, but we gotta do this. Okay, so basically, what we got into last practice was the Kabbalistic cross. Okay, for the ones that weren't here, it's basically a visualization technique where you visualize yourself basically growing taller, taller, taller out into the universe, and then just like the cross, but you'll vibrate certain words. I believe that's Hebrew.
Yeah, they are Hebrew.
Ata, Malkut, Vegebura, Vegedula.
Yeah, it's thine kingdom and power and glory.
Mm-hmm.
But it has nothing to do with Christianity.
Right. Now, when it comes to the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, this is a Golden Dawn ritual. Pretty sure Crowley and you name it, the occult celebrities, if you will.
Beyond Fortune.
They are very pretty sure that they practice this. I can demonstrate, or maybe what I could do, Tony, is maybe what you could do is you do, if you want, you could do like the reading of it, and what I can do is I can show the physical action of me doing it, on webcam.
Okay.
In that sense, I'm not gonna put on a magical robe or anything. I just have this.
Okay. Well,
so
what
basically,
I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to act it out, but you'll get the basics of what it is and what it's doing. That's why I wanted to.
What I was gonna do is basically act it out.
Right. Yeah. But that's why I touched upon earlier about the energies in the Hebrew alphabet, because yes, it does seem like it's oriented into a religion, but it's not. Those particular words and those Hebrew letters mean a lot more than a lot of people understand.
Did you like what I sent you earlier?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was able to touch upon it, but that was it.
Right.
I've been having to.
You don't need a wand to do this.
Deal with life.
You can use your finger, but I'm just gonna get the wand just so you can see.
Yeah, you can just use your finger. And as Michael was saying,
I just made a magic.
You normally do the Kabbalistic cross with it. You visualize yourself standing there. And
can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear what's going on.
Okay. So anyways.
Okay, first, like you do the Kabbalistic cross, that's when you visualize yourself in your dwelling. Your feet never leave the ground, but you imagine yourself taller and taller until you can see like your house, your county, your city, or your state, your country, until you see the earth below you, and then the solar system, all the way up into you're at the center of the universe, and then you do the thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, which is Ata, Malkut, Bigadula, and Leolam is forever, and Amen is so mote it be, which most Wiccans would recognize that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then once you're there, you start facing east, and you.
So this is.
So on an out breath, you draw a pentagram using your primary hand, It should be like a flamey blue color. You make the sign of the Emperor, and that's with your index fingers next to your temples. You vibrate Yod He Vav He, which
Yod He Vav He.
Yeah, on an out breath, then you take both hands, completing vibration of the God name, and thrust them through the center of the pentagram that you visualize. And then you draw from there a white line over to the next watchtower, which would be facing to the south.
So it's a common.
Go ahead.
It's a common Wiccan practice.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, it is Wiccan, but at the same time, it has deeper meanings because you can get into the Hebrew and understand what energies are at work as well.
Okay.
Now you repeat all the steps on for the facing south. You draw the pentagram. Now you start from the left and go up to the top, and then down to the right, and then back over to your left, to the right, and down. And the drawing that pentagram in that direction does have a representation, because each one of the points of the pentagram represent a certain element, including spirit. So whenever you're facing, yeah, Adonai, my Lord, but you have to understand you're talking about yourself. So each one of these is impressing an idea of, you standing in the center of the universe as as the Lord. So, and when you draw, then whenever you draw that, you draw your pentagram and you thrust your hands through it with the sign of the Emperor. Draw another, and continue that white line on around over to the west, and you do the same thing. You draw the pentagram, starting from the bottom left, up, down to the right, back over to the left, over to the right, and then back down where you started. And you vibrate a Heye, I am that I am. And of course, then as you're doing that, you also do the sign of the Emperor and thrust into the pentagram and draw another white line. When you're completing a circle is what you're doing. Now you're facing to the north, and you do the same thing. You draw the vanishing pentagram the same way. Start with the left side up to the top, back to the right, over to the left, back to the right. Complete it. Sign of the Emperor. Thrust your hands into it, and complete the circle back to the east. Now, once you're facing east, you stand with your arms out as to form a cross, and you say, "Before me, Raphael."
Before me, Raphael.
Now, Raphael represents the healing aspect of God. God's physician is what Raphael means. Healer of God, A-L, of God. Behind me, Gabriel.
Behind me, Gabriel.
Now, the Gabriel is the west. It's the water, the emotions, the subconscious, and Gabriel resides over that. At my right, Michael.
At my right hand, Michael.
Now, Michael, all of these end in A-L. That is of God. Michael is the protector of God. So anytime you need protection, that's who you want to call. And to my left, Oriel.
To my left hand, Oriel.
Now, Oriel is the kingdom-ish part of the archangel watchtowers, representing basically that domain is hers. The earth is her domain as far as whenever you need something, you ask Ariel. As far as material stuff goes, but it has to be Well, yeah, and then well, from that cross position, you move your foot out to the left foot out, and you visualize the pentagram around you, and your arms are a part of the arms of the pentagram. And you say, "For about me flames the pentagram."
For about me flames the pentagram.
And then you visualize a hexagram right over your heart chakra. And within me shines the sixth-rayed star.
And within me shines the sixth-rayed star.
Now the circle is ready. You're protected from adverse energies, wandering thoughts, and it's a good way to meditate. Muy bueno. Whenever you're visualizing, if you want to take notes, you can really do it however you feel comfortable, but for the most part, Raphael is wearing a yellow robe with purple highlights and holding a codices, the wand similar to what you see like a healthcare physicians have. Physician, healer of God. See, they know this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I can give, if they do not know.
Yeah, and Gabriel is blue, a blue robe with the orange highlights, holding a cup. Aid. Right, yeah, holding a cup. Recognize the cup holds water. The cup contains.
I'm Hermes, bro. I gotta have it.
And Michael, that, of course, that CH is pronounced like, you know, you're trying to hack up something. But it's a red robe with green highlights, and he holds the flaming sword. Or a flaming sword. There's more symbolism to the flaming sword because the flaming sword exists on the tree of life. It looks like a lightning bolt.
I've seen that.
And Oriel, she has a green robe with brown highlights and sheaves of wheat. So that goes to show you she's instrumental in prosperity, longevity, livelihood, gives to the harvest. And whenever you call the angels Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, and Oriel, you can visualize these particular aspects of them, just in these particular colors. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So yeah, that is the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. I will try to put what I can up on the Merlin's website for the event page, so that you can have it for yourself. You can more than likely find it in several different variations on the internet, Googling it. But there's certain things, you know, I got out of Donald Michael Craig's book on modern magic, and he just really does touch upon some of the correspondences that are important. And,
you can find one. No, go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, it may or may not be important for some, but as far as the ALs that I was talking about of God, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, Oriel, Gabriel and Ariel are spelt with an I-E-L. That denotes a feminine, where A-E-L denotes a masculine. Raphael, Michael, which that doesn't necessarily mean that's what they are, but you can visualize them as that to remind you of what energies they represent. Gabriel, emotions, the subconscious. Ariel, the caring of the garden, you know, taking care of the earth. And so, you know, some people have a better resonation, I guess, and vibratory resonance with considering the nurturing aspects as feminine. So, where the Michael is the protector, and Raphael is the wise physician. So yeah.
We're not getting into Samael yet. I don't think people are ready for that.
Shut up. No, we're not ready for that.
No, that's what Insect Mind said.
Oh, okay. I got this Google Hangout of. Okay.
It's like you're asking me when I'm teaching my Dzogchen meditation, just like what Tony is going through. It's like asking you to teach Haruka Chakra Kabbalah when you haven't gone through like Chenra Zing and
Well, no, actually, Lesser Brandishing Ritual of the Pentagram is a fairly it's a beginner ritual. But one thing that normally is touched upon before the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram is the elements. But as I was going through, as you notice, I was going through the Lesser Banishing Ritual, and then we faced each direction. I brought up those elements so that you could relate to them in those particular directions. Like facing east is air, facing south is fire, facing west is water, and facing north is earth. And of course, the four of the elements, and the fifth element, of course, is spirit. So whenever you draw a pentagram, the spirit is on top, where the four elements reside down below on the other 4 points. Whenever a Satanist or rebellious Christian, ignorant individuals flip it over, they pervert it and they place spirit below matter. And it's ridiculous. It's just a tension driver. Is all it is. All it is just a way for them to say, "Ooh, I'm mysterious. Fear me." But
see, that's what I felt from that girl yesterday.
Satanists actually are known not to really believe in God, more or less to be more humanists in nature.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, you believe that you come to a point in a realization